Hey friends, welcome to today's video. Gonna be very relaxed today. It is a gorgeous afternoon. Can you see that sunlight streaming through? I literally, in my new studio, I sit in front of two windows, and every afternoon the sunlight just streams through here. And I used to get really upset about it because I thought, oh, it casts really weird shadows, and sometimes I'll still put the overhead light on, but today I think I'm just gonna go with it because this is the reality. Sometimes I just sit in here of an afternoon and I just let that sunlight in and I feel my oats just sitting down with my books. That's a lot. Okay, this book, it's got cat hair all over it. Which cat does this belong to, I wonder? I'm gonna lint roll this. Thank goodness I had this close by. I just lint rolled my chair. This is a lot. My whole life is covered in cat hair. Sorry, I should have done that before I turned the thing on. I did see Oliver in here, sitting up here, so maybe he's been on this book. This book I got for my birthday, and it is The Art of Tim Burton. Now, if you were around last year, you might have known that I watched Family Guy, there was a spoof of Tim Burton The Nightmare Before Christmas, and it sparked this entire journey through 2018, where I was just obsessed with the creative mind of Tim Burton. I'm not going to say all the films or, you know, all of his back catalogue, but his mind and the creativity behind that man. I mean, it's just insane to look at, considering I don't love all the subject matter I see, but I find it so stimulating and so inspiring, and I think it's because it's very whimsical in its own way, obviously, but it's so expressive. It's just all whatever he thinks of, whatever he wants to do. I mean, he just gets a piece of paper. It could be a crude illustration, or he could really just go, you know, hog wild and do the absolute very ultra-most plus, which is very me. So, sorry Tim Burton if that's not what you really like, but that's what I get from you anyway. Today I thought I would actually not flip through the whole thing. I've got my journal here. I've got my Golden Book journal. This is, if you want to find one of these, go search Tangi Baxter or Art Journaling the Magic on Instagram. I believe her husband is the one that makes these, and this beautiful deckled edge, I think 300 GSM, maybe even more than that. It's a really sturdy cardstock bound in these gorgeous, oh here we go, Art Journaling the Magic. I have some ephemera in here. This is a beautiful golden book. She also has some like really rare covers as well, and they're just the most beautiful little art journals. I love working in these. This one I took to Japan with me just to do a little bit of doodling whilst we were on the trip, in case I needed something sturdier than you know, just a single piece of paper. But I have played in it at home. This one's not themed or anything. There's barely anything in it. I thought this would be a great one to play in today because Tim Burton does get very watercolory, he gets very inky, he gets very expressive with those crayons. And if you were around last year on Playtest Patreon, fun fact, I actually just launched Playtest 2 today. I'm literally filming this video the day before, which rarely happens these days, but I'm so taken with it. I had other videos, honestly, I could have just voice-overed them and put them onto YouTube, but I have been wanting to get into this since I got it for my birthday, and I thought there's no better time to do it than to just do it, right? So I put the camera on. I'm going to be very relaxed about it. I'll probably put some music over some of the more silent spots in this video, but I'm going to take inspiration from what I'm seeing here and use that to work today. Now, this is something I looked at in Playtest Patreon last year in an episode. It was called Style File, and it was about Tim Burton, where we kind of go through some of the motifs, the elements, the style, and see what pops up, see what's recurring. And style's a very interesting subject because it is very subjective. So whatever I picked up about Tim Burton and what I liked about it and what I noticed kept repeating was what I was using to kind of stimulate my own creative play session, which is essentially what I'll do today, except today I'm going to go a bit more techniques-based, I think. And I mean, we'll talk about it as we go through it. I'll tell you what I'm liking, what I'm looking at. This book is just stunning, though. It is literally 600 pounds. It's huge. And it's just this, it's like a gallery in a book of anything and everything, like little canvas drawings, little sketchbook doodles, things on the side of a page, on the back of a note card. It's got beautiful little passages in here about some stuff. It's kind of categorized into, you know, people and creatures and weird and wonderful things. But if you're into Tim Burton, this would be one for you. If you're not into Tim Burton but you just love collecting coffee table books, I'm a big Disney coffee table books kind of guy. I have a little collection. Let's just say that, little. I mean, look at that, so ultra. Double page, huge white spread just for these two illustrations. I live. You could put some journaling there. No, this will not be an altered book. I'm just using it for inspiration. That, I mean, Could you piece together what's going on in his mind? I mean, it's just nuts. I love it. Anyway, I can't go through the whole book. I'll let you do your own research online. It is called The Art of Tim Burton. I don't know if this is the standard or the deluxe edition, but it's hardcover. It's got this beautiful little window at the front. Really Tim Burton end pages, and it's just full of all of his, illustrations and little artworks. It's fascinating to look at. I haven't even been through the whole thing yet because I've been so busy since my birthday. So today's very indulgent for me, and I hope you enjoy watching this video. You can play along too if you want. I'm going to try and explain what I'm doing as I'm doing it and why I'm doing it. This book, I mean, it's huge. It might be a little off frame. Let me just check the frame for a second. Oh wow, we're 6 minutes in. See, that's a great shadow to have. I'll put it over this side so it's not too shadowy. Maybe if I work over here, maybe that might work. Oh, look, we'll just go for it. I've got so much junk all over this table. I've got art supplies and everything. Let's just see what we can do. Let's be simple. I'm gonna kind of choose something. I could just randomly flip through it, to be honest. Everything is kind of ideas for the taking. We'll start with this because we just looked at it on the screen. So we've got this kind of like a really wash of a watercolor and a pen sketch illustration. The thing that I'm loving about this, cut to me not having a pen ready. Love that for me. I don't even know if this one's waterproof. We'll find out. The thing that I love about this is that the shape of that body is so outrageous. Like, it's just this big candy corn shape. So I'm going to kind of make a body in a similar fashion. It gives a great big space for some kind of pattern work. And those arms, I mean, that's a huge arm. It's very sketchy, very loose, so I'm not going to try and connect any of these lines. In fact, probably would help if I held my pen back a little bit so I didn't get the urge to overcorrect myself. I'm going to put this arm down here this time. These don't have to be Tim Burton-esque drawings. I mean, I'm just taking the style of what he's done, but I might try to add something else on it. It's got this tiny little head that pops out here, so I'm going to give it just a little head moment. We'll see what happens. Oh, it's looking very Uncle Fester. I might kind of put a little eyelash, a little eyebrow on. Holding your pen back like this, if you're someone that really likes to control everything, literally holding it back is a great way to stop yourself from overcorrecting. And it also is a great way to get a sketchy line. Just for that reason, I guess, just for the overcorrecting. Maybe, does she want big hair? Oh, I love the little flowers that they've got going on there. She might have a big flower arrangement thusly. That's such an obscure reference I just pulled. Kath and Kim. If anyone, you'd have to be really into it to know exactly what I just said. Maybe there's someone out there. I got this little watercolor palette here. Got my little water. This palette I've just thrown together with some colors that stood out to me. I'll put them there just so you can see. They don't make any kind of specific rainbow or anything. I liked the colors as I was swatching them. I went through a huge watercolor swatch fest the other day because they were just out. They were everywhere. I thought, I don't even know where half this stuff is anymore. So every now and again, I get the urge to figure it all out for myself. I'm going to kind of do like a halo, a ring of flowers. Oh, why are the Kath and Kim references just jumping into my head today? I haven't even watched it lately. I do love to watch it though, all the time. Except I've got to be careful because it makes me really homesick. But I do believe I'm going home in November. I think it's official. Official in the sense that I decided, not in the sense that I actually got tickets. So we'll see. This color palette I'm seeing is red, yellow, green, bit of blue and grey. So maybe I won't stick to it, but I'm going to put some of this on here. There's a little loose watercolor floral arrangement. That's not the French for it. Speaks French, doesn't know French. There's a little watercolor arrangement here, so I'm just going to put that as my inspiration. She's going to wear it instead of hold on to it. I wanted to have orange hair. I don't know why. I'm just feeling orange hair for her. She's giving me very, what's that sister in Muriel's Wedding? Do you know what I'm talking about? The one that stands at the door, you're terrible, Muriel. She is that. This is who that is. I'm going to get a bigger brush. I love watercolor for adding quick color. Like, don't worry about it, splash it around, do whatever you want. It has a mind of its own, so, you know, for those people out there that are very fussy about overcorrecting, watercolor might be a good medium for you to use if you want to loosen up a little bit, because you won't find yourself trying to make it do. Or, I mean, alternatively, maybe you do. Maybe you will try to overwork it and control it. But if you can get past the fact and just accept that it'll do whatever it wants, you might actually have some fun with it. Because it's a really great medium for just letting go. It's super hard to control. So you just kind of don't, is my best advice. I'm going to put some little yellow on her face. She has a yellow face in this book. It's going to bleed my orange a little bit, but I'm not mad at that. She's got polka dots, but I think I'm going to put some stripes while the watercolor's wet, and can you see how it feathers out? Now, depending how wet it is in certain places, it'll feather out more than others. So I've got a dry patch over here, which is going to stay quite linear, like quite where I put it. Does that mean quite where I put it? Good one, James. It's going to stay put where it's dry. But you can see where it's wet, it's going to bleed out. And now that I'm saying bleed, I'm seeing this looks very blood-like. Opens a Tim Burton book once, starts drawing blood. No. Let's just pretend it's just a beautiful red. It will dry down a little darker than that, because I know this color. So it probably won't look so, like, bold blood red. I'm going to put a little bit more green in here. Now, I'm getting fussy now. I'm trying to fill in all the negative space. I've got to leave her. She's done. Let's move on to something else. I loved that. That came together so quickly. This is why I love working with inspiration, coffee table books. Coffee table books more than a screen. I don't really want to see it on an iPad or a phone screen, just because, I mean, it's something different about having it tangible right in front of you. So we've got some ink, kind of sketchy characters here. I'm going to use that as my inspo to get a little sketchy. It looks like he's done it all with one pen width. Usually I would switch them up, but I think for this, I'll get rid of that shadow. I think for this, I'm just going to use this one pen. So what could I do? If I just think of someone, maybe I could do let's do Kath and Kim, but very loose interpretation. I'm just using them more for the style than the actual, I don't need to make them look like Kath and Kim. I just want to use that for my inspiration. From what I remember about that era in Australia, a lot of people had this double belt thing going on and a double tank top. So I'm just going to roughly sketch that in. Now, look, even if you are working from reference, I don't want you to think just because I opened this book, it's just all going to work out for you. I still know that some people can have a really rough time with some of this stuff, and it does come down to a lot of practice. If you see it happen easy on the screen, just remember that there was a lot of years that happened before it happened a little easier on the screen. And hopefully that will set you up for a bit more of an enjoyable time, because, and I'm sure it'll happen today, there are still times I sit down and I can't make it work. I don't know how to do it. I've messed up a line and it really put the rest of everything, it goes crazy. But it's a little much to think if you've never really drawn people before, that you'll be able to sit down, pull the inspiration and just be able to draw a person. You don't want to set yourself up for that kind of a thing. And that's why I just kind of say have fun with it. You don't really need to come out with anything fantastic. If you can just have fun in the process, learn something new, it'll be worth it just for that, I reckon. I don't even reckon, I know. I know for a fact it'll just be worth it if you're having fun. Just giving her, this is foul the way that I'm drawing it. For me, for my aesthetic, for the way I like things to look, this is just not, not what I'd be choosing any kind of finished piece to look like if I were really trying to represent, myself. But I love to play with the styles. I love to experiment with all of that. You don't know how much fun you'll have doing something until you actually do it. In theory, it's always fun to look at, and sometimes we can convince ourselves that we really would enjoy doing something, then you do it, you don't enjoy it at all. So, crack out your paints, crack out your pens. What have I been saying? My brain is just everywhere today. I'm convinced I probably said nothing that has made sense so far. I'm putting a crown on because Kim's a queen. Love Kimmy. Should we do Kath? I love Kath. Give her a bit of a hook nose this time. We'll do a bit of a closer version of Kath. Oh, she looks like that thing from, what's the Studio Ghibli film? Spirited Away, that old grandma. I haven't seen that film in ages. I do like that film. I should watch it. That might be an inspiration to pull. I rarely pull from anime just because it feels like it was very like early teen days. And I don't really want to, I don't want to revisit that. Wow, those hands are something else. Kath likes to carry a tote bag with her own face on it, which is truly iconic, and I'm honestly not far off doing that myself at this point. New JLB merch. My headshot on a tote. Any takers? Could you imagine? I actually did one for my mum once. I did, oh, she has scribbly, scratchy hair, so I'll put that around here. I put a picture of my nephew as a baby on a tote. So it was cuter. It wasn't a photo of me or anything. But yeah, she loved it. She'd take it to work with her. And I didn't even know why I did it. I think I just wanted to see what it would look like. I guess I've always had a fascination of like seeing products made. Because I wanted to do it because I had taken the photo. And I loved the photo. And I thought, oh yeah, my mum will love this as a tote bag. Very bold to assume she wanted to carry around my photographic works. Okay, so I'll put this little hand here, give her a bit of a glamour pose, and give her a personalized tote. So this style that I'm kind of playing with now, it's just scratchy scribble pen work. It's nothing crazy. I think the challenge of it is to know where to scribble and where not to scribble. And I always think that if you're going to draw attention to something, scribble there. Now, it's hard because some people don't want an illustration like that to live in their journals. It might just be a little dull. Or, I don't know, maybe you're just not even happy with just not having color on your page. So, what I like to do, grab a little watercolor, push it into the edge work here, or the lining, and just give this negative color effect. If you grab a bit of water on your brush and clean it out a bit, and then just brush it into that edge, you can feather it out really nicely. I find that it blends in really beautifully, and this is a great tip for journalers because, you know, I'm sure if you're someone that's into art journaling, you want to be practicing your art, but you also want to be practicing your illustration or maybe your painting, and sometimes it's hard to know where you should put certain things, like do I just color the illustration in? Maybe I don't want to. I think coloring a work like this that's super scratchy and scribbly is a little distracting from the charm of all the scribbles. That's just personal preference. You could if you wanted to. In fact, Tim Burton does it beautifully. But also, I think the point for me is that if your pen isn't waterproof, but you do want to add color down, negative coloring just open up a world of opportunity for you. So you don't even have to stick with one color. You could get multiple. I would just always suggest go heavy on the water. Watercolor loves water. Yeah, I mean, look, don't love those, but I gave it a go. I think there's not enough. There wasn't enough caricature in it. I think I should have pushed it a little further. Oh, see, okay, this is something that I love. This, what on earth is this? All of that watercolor patterning, and he's even got shadowing going on there, the shadowing around the skin. It's a very graphic image, but in essence, like, it's broken down into a watercolor pattern, two simple shapes, and then just detailed with some shadows. Like, this is what I want to do. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it right here. Part of me wants to use the same shapes he's used, but maybe make it look... No, I won't use those shapes. I'll do something different. How about I just freestyle it? So we've got a head over here. I'll give it something pointy, because I prefer to work with a pointier face. The concentration, and it's not going to turn out well at all, but I'm just going to be concentrating this whole time. That is a mess. I love it though. I mean, look, I don't ever draw anything other than fairies and mermaids and really whimsical, pretty things. So this is a great challenge for me. I'll give her some big cat eye sunglasses. I think the charm about Tim Burton as well is that you can get away with it. It's very interpretive. So even though I'm saying cat eye, does it have to be the exact shape? No, it really doesn't. It can be the thought of it. And that's super fun to play with as well. I'm going to give her some age lines just down here. Calling them age lines these days. I've got many popping up all over my face. I'm not in denial about aging. I just don't know what I'm going to look like. If I could get a visual on it, I think I'd be a lot happier about it. I know that's very vain of me, but I just want to know. Alright, she's going to be a bit of a glamour puss. Saying it's a she, it could totally be a he. So in this one, in the illustration I'm pulling inspiration from, he's only got this head part and the arm. The rest, the kind of body shape that floats in and floats out, is all watercolor pattern work. So I think I'm just going to give it hair. I'm calling it an it now. What is it? Is this a man or a woman? Is it me? Oh my goodness, it's me. I'm going to do me. I'm going to give it my kind of hair. I don't have this hair at all. I'm going to give it my fantasy hair. This is me at 50. Being fabulously glamorous somewhere. I'm going to go really true to it this time. I'm going to give it the blue shadowing that he's got. I'm using a Kyanite Genuine watercolor by Daniel Smith. It's such a beautiful mineral watercolor that granulates really pretty, and it's also a really interesting blue color. But this in the sun, when it's dry, you can see all the little mineral kind of sparkles. You know what I'm like for a sparkle. Can't get enough of a sparkle, to be honest. It's got lots of shadowing around the eyes, which makes sense. I think all of it's kind of centralized to this this middle part of the face just here. Which, you know, if you're only going to put a little bit of color somewhere, you should probably put it where you want to draw the attention, is what I've learnt in the past. So I'm going to use it to just put it in the shadow areas. Still loose, I still don't really care if it's not where it's supposed to be. But then if I'm going to pop out maybe a bit of this pinky red cheek, even that's got to be more centered towards that face. That's why I love watercolor. If I don't like it, just blot it back up. So I'm going to put some of that just in there. Maybe just on the lips too. I just want a soft feathering though. I don't really want pink lips. Who knows? Maybe by the time I'm this age, all men will be wearing makeup. That's been an interesting trend over the years, watching men become in makeup. I just saw an ad on TV with a guy in a lipstick campaign, which is just so funny. I mean, if you could have told me that when I was younger, like, don't worry, one day men would... I mean, I don't even wear makeup, but you know what I mean? Like, maybe I wouldn't have been so scared to, you know, to be a bit more public about my feminine traits, of which I don't really have that many. I mean, I love glitter, I love fairies, I love mermaids, but if we're like restructuring all gender, like, I don't know who that belongs to anymore. Fairies could belong to anyone now. It's truly a different world, and I know I'm not even that old, but oh, my hair is not blonde. Get out of here! And I'm definitely not dyeing it blonde in my old age. It's an interesting world. I don't know. I can't relate to many of today's problems for youth. We didn't have all the tech and all the like social media bullying and everything. I don't really remember that happening when I was younger. It was very much still in your face or behind your back bullying. The good old-fashioned kind. But yeah, I mean, it's a lot sneakier online. I've learned my own things about the changes, obviously, because I work in a social media space, but I do feel like I don't understand a lot of it, and I do believe that children these days probably have it a lot harder than I had it. So, just my 2 cents worth that no one asked for. I think it's been difficult throughout history, let's just be honest. Everyone's had a difficult time. I don't personally feel like I had a very difficult time. I had a family that really didn't care if I was painting or drawing or dancing or dressing up as Dorothy and prancing around the kitchen or skating down the road singing Xanadu at the top of my lungs. They didn't seem to care as long as I was enjoying myself and I wasn't getting hurt or like being a nuisance to society. So I felt very encouraged by all of that. But it does seem like a very different landscape these days. Like I would never have seen a male in a marketing campaign for lipstick when I was a kid. I don't think many people watching this might have seen that. But that's the reality of children today what they've seen, and whether people like it or don't like it, all I point out is like just how different that is. And it wasn't that long ago that it wasn't that. So just kind of just noticing these things ever since my birthday. The world that I live in, how it's changing, how it's evolving. Does everyone get like that? Is that what happens when you get older? You just get more contemplative about everything? I generally just do me, whatever that is that day. Like, I was going to do a very simple striped pattern for these, like, quote-unquote clothes, but you can see I have accidentally given myself a confetti shawl. It's so much, and I just keep adding to it. Like, I don't think I'm planning on stopping. Someone stop me. I don't think I've quite got the idea, or maybe my shape is wrong for it to really be a good match to the reference. But I think the style, I mean, it's kind of there. And if I were doing this in like a regular art journal with my writing and my illustration, like I would love to have this just up in the corner of the page, you know, just as a little doodle. I could do how I was feeling that day. I'm gonna put these glasses on. Just these black glasses so no one can see what I'm looking at. I love to people watch. I'm terrible for it. And I can do it without glasses on too. I'll just straight up stare at you. Not really. I won't stare you down, but I do love to people watch a little bit. Just a little bit. Alright, I'm going to pause the video here and quickly dry this up and come back in a second. Alright, it's all dry, so let's pick another little something to play with. Oh, crayons. I got my distress crayons over there. Crayons might get messy. Okay, I love this, and this is a water-soluble crayon. Unless he's just... No, yeah, it does look water-soluble. Maybe we'll try and attempt some of this. Crayon texture. Looks like this looks like it's been mixed with acrylic. This one. Looks like it's been done on canvas. These are all fun. They're like little ink illustrations with crayon. Should I do that? I never play with my crayons. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm here for it. Let's give it a, what's it called? What's that movie? Stepford Wives? Is it the one with Nicole Kidman? Where she's, she has that really 60s, that moment where she's in the supermarket and she looks really 60s. Is that Tim Burton? No. I don't know. Now that I mention it, I don't know. Every time I think 60s, I think pastel houses, like Edward Scissorhands type, Tim Burton stuff. So, maybe. Let's do some ink illustrations. It looks like what we're going to do is just draw the torso and the face, and everything else around it could be crayon. So let's just do a row of these 60s inspired. Well, I'm going to say inspired. I'm not really going to look at anything. I just want them to have big bows. That's all I know. So let's go with this kind of a face shape. I'm going to hold my pen back again because I'm really starting to get tempted to overcorrect. We'll give the first one these cat eye sunglasses because I'm in the mood for those now. Just some lips. I like a good long neck. Little giraffe neck. Body. So we're just drawing the torso. So I'll go down to the collarbone and the chest. Tim Burton is a little generous in that area, so I'm not gonna go there. But you know, maybe the crayon will take me there, who knows. For now, I'm just going to keep it quite simple. I think I'm going to try and just do them all the same way. To be honest, because I'm being loose with the pen, they will just look different anyway, because they're all going to be, you know what I mean? Like, I can't control the line, so they will just look different. Even if I approach drawing every single one the same way. And then I can change them up with their styling or whatever. Oh, you know what? Let's just do those two. I'll do those two, because you don't need to see, like, a whole thing. Or do you? I don't know. What do you need? I'm going to grab... You know what? Let's put some detailing on first. Should we do it first? Yeah, we'll do it first, because the crayon will get all smudgy and crazy. Let's do the Tim Burton Swirl. He loves a good spiral. So we'll do that on the glasses. When I mean detailing, all I mean is either I'm going to put texture in there, or I'm going to put a pattern in there. I'm really loose with the interpretation of either, and to be honest, I'll just choose whatever it feels like I want to be doing it in the moment. I get these urge to draw bugs on their ears, like for earrings. Should I draw bees? No, I'm not going to do that. That's crazy. Why would I do that? I will, however, close off the top of their heads, and I want to do a big bow, because I want to give them fabulously huge hair, but I want a bow, so I need to put that in first. Otherwise, my crayon's not going to play nicely with this pen. This is a pen from Muji, not Muji. No, this is not from either of them. I actually got gifted this pen. It feels like one of those Miniso pens. You know that they work really well, but they're very inexpensive. So it feels like one of those. But a Muji or a Miniso, I mean, either one would work, and they're both relatively inexpensive. Alright, so I got that. Let's give them a big hair. He looks like he's gone orange, green. I don't know if that's green or yellow. Orange, green, red, blue. 4 colors? We'll keep it kind of... I'm not going to commit to 4 colors, let's be honest. He's just gone very loose with everything, so I'm going to do loose. I'll do as many colors as I feel like I need to do. I think the aim with that crayon was just to add the color and some of the texture. So we don't really need to draw anything neatly. Just as long as it's in the area we want it to be in, that will work out. Another thing when you're working with texture, like if you really want this crayon to stand out, not that I know a lot about the crayons, because honestly they make me nervous. I love them, but they really do worry me because I don't know if I'm using them right all the time. But if you do change the direction as well, like you don't have to always go up and down. You can go up and down, side to side, scribbles, squares, little triangle. You know, the more you change that up, I think some more success you'll have with that. Let's put the pink on. Should I give... No, he doesn't have any color on their faces. Like this whole part is just black and white. So maybe I'll stay the same, true to that. But I will put on their dresses. And this is where he was a little generous. I don't know if I'll be as generous. Oh, I could do like a bathing suit. Oh, that's a good idea. I'm going to do a bathing suit. So we're kind of just implying the body shape here. We don't actually have to outline it because he's done all of that with just the pen. But I'm going to have to put their legs on now because they have legs coming out of their bathing suit. Well, they might not. Tim Burton probably wouldn't, but I'm going to do that. I'm going to give them little hands too. Little glamour hands. See, this is... I mean, to me, I can see Tim Burton in there, but this is how I like to play. I mean, I'm using an element that I really enjoy, like the 60s. I'm doing... It looks Barbie-ish in a little way, to me anyway. And this is how I think... if you're struggling to play, this is how I think I'd recommend playing. Taking the inspiration, whether it be the style, the color palette, the mediums, I mean, what else is there? The paper, I don't know, whatever you're inspired by, taking that inspiration and practically applying it to what you actually already do enjoy. I'm going to leave those like that because, to be honest, I think I like them like that. Don't know what I'm going to do with them in this journal here, but they can live there. Let's do one more. I actually really enjoyed that. I want to do more of a full piece this time. I like what I was doing here. Should I try that again? Should I try a full figure this time? I think I might try a full figure and really Tim Burton it up, which means just kind of caricaturize? Caricature? What's the verb for that? I'm going to try and give it a more of a caricature look. So proportions crazy, angles crazy. He's got this one here which I'm actually really enjoying. Is this woman in a grocery store. I guess that's why maybe I was thinking of the grocery store scene in Stepford Wives. If that's even the movie. I don't even know if it is. See this one here? I think these are her little legs and her little... Like, that's her legs from here to here. But her top half is a lot bigger. This is what I mean, how he's playing with that proportion. So I'm going to give that a go. I like that bent over pose. So let's do that. She can have... Oh, she's already looking like a witch. You know The Witches, the Roald Dahl book? That movie. My goodness. Has anyone ever seen that? With Angelica Houston, that movie is so scary. Even as an adult, I actually find it a little more disturbing as an adult. I saw an ad for it. I think it's coming on Netflix or something. So he's got very thin body, big shaped dress. And it's kind of curved. I can do that. Oh, I'm going to do a ballerina. I already know it. He's also got these really big legs too, which I don't know. Maybe I'll do big arms. I don't want to do a direct kind of, you know, proportion for proportion kind of a switch, but I'll do like the little spindly legs on the little tiny feet. Yeah, we'll put them next to each other. Why not? He loves a good striped pattern as well, so let's just put some stripes on those. Should be a very Tim Burton ballerina. Ballerinas have tight buns in their hair. I do remember that. It's poor girls. There we go. And the arms. How should we do her arms? Oh, I know. She's displaying her dress. She's very proud of her dress. This is a mess and I love it. And you know what's going to help me even more is that because we've got this kind of a theme going on, now I know how I kind of want to render everything in the background. So he's got a mix of crayon and watercolor, which means we're just going to go for it. I'm going to give a curtain moment. She's going to be at the opening night of her show. She's taking her bow, actually. She had a great performance. She thought, no one's going to like this. I'm not a very good dancer, but I just want to try. This is very me right now. This is me when I went back to dance class. Art imitates life, does it not? So this water-soluble crayon, it's actually funny because I've been seeing so much of that in this book, and I was curious to know if I could get the same effect. Not because I love the effect, but because I knew one day I would try sitting down playing with all these ideas. I just wanted to know how close I could get that effect, because I thought, I'm pretty sure this is exactly what it is. And that is what it looks like, so I'm very happy about that. Let's just keep coloring, because I've got the whole background now. He's got it's not really a fully colored background. We'll see what we can do. I think I want, yeah, I mean, I like that. Red and blue. They're the colors my brother and I used to wear as kids. We always wore the same clothes for years and years and years. And he was always blue and I was always red. We're twins. We're not identical though, so we didn't need to wear the same clothes. I think it was just easier for mum to get that than to switch up the order for each kid, so it's fine. I always found a way to glam it up. The tea towel on my head. Did anyone else used to do that when you were younger? You really wanted long hair, so you'd get a kitchen towel and just pop it behind your ears? I was in my element with my tea towel on. Alright, so he's got these big florals on the dress, but I'm kind of just living for this this stripe pattern again. The colors are all very bold. Probably should have tried to make them a little more contrasting. But I don't know, maybe I'll go for like a really dark background or something. Like if she's just in the light, do you know what I mean? So I'll just, everything here is dark. I could try and go over everything, but I feel like everything's water reactive, so it's going to mess it all up. But now I really do want to try it. I should dry everything and just try it, should I? I'll wait for your response. There's going to be half the people that say try it, and then half the people that are like, no, don't. But also, what am I saving this for? Like, this is all just play. And my urge is saying, do it. I'll put this in first. I'll dry it. No, I can't. Because it's blue over the red. Look crazy. You know so much of me wants to try it. I also think where I went wrong is I put the blue over her face. So I'm not quite sure. Maybe if I did it in crayon? No. Maybe. Because then I wouldn't have to activate it. I could try it with crayon. Now, when I'm using watercolor, I don't love to use a heat tool on it because sometimes the heat will react with the pigment and it will scorch it. You'll get a very different color than if you just let it air dry. But for play, I don't really mind. Unless if what I'm playing with is the color, in which case I do mind. Should I just try it with this? The gray? I feel like gray is a little more Tim Burton. I'm gonna do it. Everyone hold your breath. Oh no, I can't! I can't. I can. I will go over this. Sorry, doll. But you'll be even more in the spotlight now. And I'm thinking of making this spotlight just yellow watercolor over the top of her. That really doesn't make sense with the curtain now, does it? I'll grab the red again, see what I can do. Just bolden that up a little bit. Maybe if I had her right in the middle of the page that would have worked, but her head is just like peeking out in the craziest way. So let me go fluorescent yellow watercolor. Just a little bit of that over the whole thing. It looks very circusy, not gonna lie. I'll just put the yellow over everything. Maybe I'll get a darker yellow crayon and kind of work it into that wet layer. Because if this is wet underneath, the crayon will activate on top of it. Though I have to read these because I don't know which ones. Oh, scattered straw, maybe that'll be good. Oh, this one's bold. Mustard seed. Let's go with that. Oh, it's pushing the watercolor away. That's interesting. It's like clearing the watercolor. Do you see that? Didn't expect that. Where's it going? Where's the watercolor going? I don't know what happened just there. Let's just dry it up a little bit. Alright, so it got away from me. But now I'm wondering, it is mixed media, so we can just go mixed media on it. I'm sure there are a lot of people saying, like, why bother, just let it go. But I do have some gouache here that might lay over the top. So if I can give it a quick, more opaque layer on top, I don't know, might work. The gouache out of the dried half pans, though, isn't as flat as the gouache straight out of the tube. And that crayon is reacting as a bit of a resist because it's not been activated with water. Maybe I'll try some paint. I've got these little handmade modern paints here. I just want to see it happen. I want to see how it works. I haven't been this messy and painterly in ages. It is fun though. If you don't play like this, I encourage you to give it a go. There's notebooks everywhere. You don't have to use an expensive one. You can use a cheap one. You can just do it on an old piece of paper. Sometimes I just think it's important to grab your stuff out and actually just play with it like you're a kid. Oh, if I give this like a little feathered effect like this, maybe her tutu can be this big furry thing. Or I just like the texture. My brush is a little wet, so it's not going to be very impasto, but I could dry it like that. Paint markers are great. I'm going to find a paint marker and try and go over it. Ooh, I can smell that paint burning. I got a purple paint marker here. Paint marker will lay over almost anything, so let's just color over her body again so she stands out. I chose purple because the yellow is behind it and I want it to be the opposite on the color wheel, just to give it a bit of contrast. Probably not going to be bright enough to really see it. Got this yellow as well, so let's put some of that on. My plan is just to put a bit of this down so that I can redraw over the top of it. But it's going to be a little difficult because I've got so much medium down there, which is fine. You know, another thing that might help, actually, let's just quickly draw on top. See how quickly all the mediums just come out? In the space of like 2 minutes, I pulled out everything just to try and keep playing with this. I'm going to put the details back on. Hopefully they're a little bit more visible now, but I think I will go over the back, over the back. I will go over it again and outline everything with a white Posca paint marker, just to really make it a little bit more bold. I can't figure out how to make this furry right now, so if I just scribble over the edges, it might look a bit more furry. It's kind of muddy, like the whole thing is not very poppy and punchy and, you know, clean and crisp, but I still think you can tell it was a little Tim Burton inspired. You can definitely see there's an influence there, I reckon. Okay, let's grab this white. And if I just kind of go around the edge of everything, I'm going to pop it out again. Also, the outline doesn't have to be neat, but this one I would try and keep just a little bit closer to the body than all those sketchy lines. I might even put the extra fur on out here. This paint marker, I mean, it is a wet paint at the end, so if you are running over things like some of that crayon and you push into it, you will activate that. So just be careful, because sometimes if you put them away with all that pigment and sediment just kind of sitting on top, the next time you go to pull them out, it might be a little bit of a mess. So just give them a bit of a brush off onto a piece of paper, clean piece of paper, or just onto your piece if you're doing something messy. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of Tim Burton there. Is it what I was going for? No, but also what was I going for? Do you know what I mean? Oh, a new one. I don't need the new one. I just need some pink cheek. So I love it. Actually, I'll give her a garland. When I did ballet, that's a lie. When I was younger and I would watch people that did ballet, there was this one that I always remembered where all the girls had these garlands of flowers in this, kind of like on this rod that was curved, and they did the whole ballet dance with these flowers. And I didn't want to do ballet at the time, but I was very jealous because I did want to prance around the stage with that flower garland. And then when it was my turn to do ballet, I didn't even get to do flower garland. I think it was only for the girls at that point as well, so I don't know. Oh, now we're coming full circle into how gender roles have changed. I don't know if the boys can carry the garlands these days, but if they can, let me know. I'll give it a go. Actually, just on that conversation from before, please don't think that I actually had any real thoughts, feelings, or opinions on that. I know sometimes I can get a little candid here, but I really honestly, I don't even think about some of the things that I talk about. They're just thoughts in my head. So, yeah, I don't really have much to add to that conversation. I probably should. That's terrible of me, but sometimes I do believe like that's a problem for kids of this generation, not necessarily me, because I think I'm kind of comfortable with who I am and what I know. Is that even selfish? Wow, James, stop talking. Not my problem, so I shouldn't care. That's terrible. But I guess I'm just not informed. I don't know, so I shouldn't speak on it. Because that's how I get myself into so many messes when I talk about things I don't know anything about. I love that I say that as a 29-year-old, like I haven't figured that out yet. Alright, I think I'm good here. I have had a really great time playing with this. You can see we didn't do a ton of, anything crazy, but I mean, it was good fun. I had good fun doing it. I really want to paint the outside of this. You thought I was going, and I'm not. I'm going to give this a really fun coat of negative space. I just had this paint staring at me, and I just saw it, and I thought, this is also one of the Tim Burton things that I was admiring from the book, was when he just wants to put a background on, he'll just put it on. Doesn't matter. Don't worry about it. Just do it. So I'm going to do it. I mean, I've done this before, but I've been like very precise about how I cut into the edges. And I think what stands out to me more than anything with his work is how just free and expressive it is. It doesn't look like any of it he sat there and was laboring over something or second guessing himself about anything, which I think he probably was, because let's be honest, that's a thing that everyone goes through. We'll always have those moments, and I think you should. It's good to be discerning about your own work and say, you know what, don't like that. Do like that, don't like that. Because then you know what to try next time. But some people, I think, take it to that next level where it becomes like, I don't even want to try it at all, and, well, I'm always failing at it, so I don't want to do it. And, I've learnt over these past couple of years to let all of that go. Because it was kind of inconsequential. No one was, there was no problem with the fact that I didn't make something good. Unless it was a commission, but I don't really do those anymore, so I don't have to worry about it. But if I'm making a YouTube video, it doesn't have to be good. It doesn't have to be groundbreaking. It doesn't have to be new. You can pull inspiration and have fun. It could just be playtime. It could be anything. So once I realized, I didn't have to do anything great, my expectations really changed. Sometimes I still get very caught up in my own expectations. I set myself up for a bit of disaster. But today I think was one of those times where I really managed to just say to myself, have fun, and I actually did it. So I'm really happy that I managed to get that on camera for you. Doesn't always work out like that. In fact, I think the last time I did that, I did not have fun. So I'm glad I did have fun today. But the results, I mean, they're very different. The last time I, quote unquote, didn't have fun, maybe there was some more polished pieces. Maybe there was something that I would, revisit as an idea. But to me, like, I kind of love this. I don't know why. And as dirty and muddy as this turned out, like, I don't hate her either. She is fun to me. She's just living her life on that stage. This is truly how I felt when I went back to dancing recently. Anyway, hope you had fun. I'm going to dry this up. I'll give you a couple of close-ups to look at. The Art of Tim Burton is the book that I was using today. I will leave a link down below if you want to check it out. I don't know if I can find one on Amazon, but I'll leave it linked somewhere to some site. And I think it was very, very expensive. Steve bought it for my birthday, so I don't know the exact price, but when I was looking at it, I think it was about $160. So definitely an investment, but if anything, hopefully today showed you that it doesn't have to be that book. It could be any book. Anything that makes you want to try whatever you're seeing is good enough to run with, and I think you should set yourself up in some beautiful sunlight if you've got some, grab a few supplies out, and just have a good old time. So yeah, enjoy the close-ups, hope you had a great time, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye!